See, 5 years ago, none of this existed. One broken leg changed everything for me. This isn't a fitness video. This is gonna show you how I actually rebuild myself from a broken leg to where I am right now. So I would love to give you guys a little background of who is actually Hamoudi. So we're gonna rewind it because a lot of people think Hamoudi is the person now. How did he even actually get here? How did he get the six packs? How is he this fitness guy? So we'll give you the insight. This is why I want people to understand that things change as life changes and your circumstance changes. Do not believe what you see a lot online. A lot of people give you the glamorous of the end results, but they never show you what they actually went through. And a lot of people don't like to talk about it because they say, oh, I didn't go through it, so I got there. My name is Hamoudi. I was a refugee in Indonesia when I was 10 years old. So we fled Iraq when I was about 8 in the war of 1998-2000, I believe. And our family decided to leave and didn't know where to go. The only connection we had was we had some people we knew that was living in Australia, and they said, come to Australia, and that's all we knew. No English. The only language we were speaking is Arabic. And back then there was, of course, no social media. So how the hell would you know even to translate stuff? You couldn't. So my mum decided, obviously, as the war kind of started, she goes, you know what? We're actually going to leave Iraq. We're not staying here anymore. And as a young boy, you know, you don't understand. You have two siblings who are a lot younger than you. We don't know where to go. We're just following what our parents would do, right? You have no say, especially as a Middle Eastern parents, you have no say at all. So we, of course, our family fled. My dad actually didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay, but my mom said, either you come or I'm leaving by myself. Like, imagine the gut on her of just saying, I'm going. Like, I can't even go down the road sometimes and you don't even know where to go without a GPS. So imagine back then you had no GPS, no nothing, and you just go through. Anyway, fast forward, we ended up leaving. We ended up in Jordan for about a month. And then from Jordan, we ended up going to Malaysia for about 3 weeks. And then that's when the asylum seekers. So asylum seekers is people who actually you pay money to, and then they'll take you to another country to potentially get you to your destination. So we, of course, we ended up going to Indonesia. Now, Indonesia, with our Iraqi passport, that's the only country you can get to. Anything out of there you cannot get through. So the only way to get to Australia is through the boats. So you get on these boats and you're in the ocean for about 3 days. Now, in reality, we never knew what these boats look like. They've never showed us. They'll show us pictures. It looks fancy. A lot of people was like, cool, you know, and a lot of people lost money, thousands and thousands of dollars, because money was nothing to them. They just wanted to get to a safer place. So a lot of people did lose money, and a lot of them went crazy as well. So of course it came to our turn. Hey, we guys leaving at this time, at this evening, and we're going to be heading over to Australia. And we're like, okay, like sweet, you know, like this is it. So the first time we went, obviously you go at nighttime. So the police, the navies don't see you. You're basically like legal. You know, you're doing anything that to possibly get to the destination you want to get to. So yes, we went it, and my younger brother started crying, going crazy, didn't want to go on. And my mom said, this is a bad sign, we don't want to go on. We're like, okay, cool. So we didn't end up going onto that boat, and that boat, the exact boat that we were going to go on, it sank. Everybody on there, unfortunately, rest in peace, passed away. And that's when things started changing. And then we tried second time, same thing. My brother is like, nope, I'm not getting on. And then my mom was like, well, no, we have to, because this is the last boat that's going, and we're not gonna get there. You know, we have to go. Unfortunately, as we try to go on, that's when the Indonesian Navy came through and arrested everyone. I believe there was about 10 to 15 families with us at the time. And yes, they arrested us, and that's when everything went downhill. They took us to jail. We did not know can't even speak English. We can't speak English, can't speak their language. So how the hell do you even communicate with these people? So we ended up, obviously, they brought us back into jail. We sat there for about 8 months. Mum got pregnant in jail, and my younger brother Ali passed away in jail. So he was about 2 weeks old. And yeah, then one day United Nations came, and of course they'll interview everybody else. They say, hey, you're going to this country because they need you, going to this country because that's how they were doing it then. And then they came to us, they're like, hey, there's a country called New Zealand. They would accept you guys. And we thought, where the hell is this place? And a lot of people said, oh, it's close to Australia. We're like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, eventually in 2002, 2003, that's when we came to New Zealand, I believe. Came to a place where we didn't know anybody. A few families, thank God, came with us. And one of them was actually staying to where we were. And yeah, when they got us here, we were in a camp, Mangere camp, for about 6 weeks before they let us out to give us, state houses at the time. And yeah, things was always difficult from the start. The day we left was difficult to the day we arrived to this country was difficult. So forward, I did not like school. Mom was trying to get me to go to school. I hated it. I was missing my friends back home. I was getting crazy. Anything that you'd name it, I just did not want to do. Unfortunately, as time goes on, I probably was going to school 1 or 2 times a week, and then I would just walk out of school, get home, because I personally didn't want to be at school. I didn't know these people, couldn't speak the language. People were making fun of me because you can't speak English. Like, how the hell do you mean to communicate? And as time goes on, I remember at one time in class, this guy started laughing, and that's when I got up and then started smashing him for no reason. And then another guy jumped in with me to smash his other friend. And that's how my best friend became Hussein. And we both couldn't speak English. So we were like hanging out at lunchtime, morning tea, just sitting there, sign language. Like, even me speaking about this right now, it actually gave me goosebumps because I never told this story to nobody. I mean, beside close friends, but to actually speak about it out loud, it does bring some kind of nerves in my system because it is traumatizing. What kind of kid would want to be seeing all that stuff at a 10-year-old, at a 10-year-old, and, leaving a country where there's bombs going on, people getting killed. So all these things as a young kid should never be seen, But unfortunately, you cannot choose where you live. You just happen to be there. You're born there, and you got to make the most out of it. And yeah, fast forward, I started playing football at school, and I think that's when everything slowly started changing for me. Because back home in Iraq, we will play soccer on the streets. We have no fields, so you're playing with bare feet with a ball made of a lot of socks, and then that's how we make a ball back then. You bring a lot of socks, and it turned into a soccer ball. So I was smoking these kids, and they're like, "What the hell? Where's this guy from?" Unfortunately, couldn't speak English. But I feel like that's the day that I realized that I could do things in silent, or things that I don't need validation of, just being myself. And that's how I kind of like slowly start progressing. Now, as I learned, as I went, at school, I started enjoying playing football. And the first word that I started learning in English is, of course, fuck you and motherfucker. I used to say that quite a lot. And for so long, I don't know what it meant. And then one time I remember a teacher was like, "You know what this means?" No, motherfucker, fuck you. Yeah, that's it. But yes, that's how kind of we started before we came to New Zealand. So a lot of things has happened along the way, and I wouldn't be the man that I am today without all these things happen. So fast forward, I started progressing in my football. The goal became to dream to become a football player, to become a successful football player, and to play in the best stadiums in the world. That was my goal, because I started dreaming about it every day. I was like, yo, I'm pretty good at what I do. Might as well continue doing that. And of course, my idol was Cristiano Ronaldo. So I used to wake up and just, like every day, I literally used to go to school, have some weights in my bag, no books, just so I can walk from home to school to get my strength up and to be fit. Thinking about it now, I actually never knew what I was doing, but all I knew was like, I'm sure this will help me. You know what I mean? So yeah, the whole goal was to become a football player. Everything that I did was football. My dad was like, what are you gonna do? Like, I was like, nope, football, this is what I want, this is what I love, this is what like, I was so in love with the football that I used to sleep with the ball at night. Like, that's how I was in love with it. And yeah, so fast forward, I pushed, I became a good football player. Of course, my English became good at the time. Of course, it wasn't amazing, but still, I cannot complain. I mean, hey, English is my second language. So when I do make mistakes, I don't really care, because I can always say English is my second language, which it is. To even be able to sit down here and speak to you guys the way that I am speaking, I think it's quite a lot, and it's quite amazing that I actually could interpret my life in a way that you guys could understand of what I'm saying. As I went, played football, played the highest football, and I was like, cool, time to like really get to push this. And I remember me and my friend, we got scouted to go trials for the New Zealand under-20s. Unfortunately, football politics, you don't understand it until you get a little bit older. We don't know. I was like, as long as you're good, it doesn't really matter, right? Unfortunately, that wasn't the way. When you have two brown guys playing football into a culture where a lot of their family paid money for them to be playing it there, even though they were not great. So who the hell we are to come in and trying to be, but still, we knew we were better. We were smashing them all the time. We were like running around them like nothing, but still that was not enough. You're a refugee kid who can't speak English properly, yet you want to come and play for the New Zealand team. Like, hello, that's like, yeah, that was, but that never really stopped. That never really stopped me, because I realized, my mom, I keep remembering my mom. I was like, if my mom left a country with 3 kids and no English to go to a place that we don't know where the hell we're going about, what the hell would I want to be worried about this? Like, we left a place and we took a risk, probably the biggest risk of our life, to go to a place that literally you had no map, no destination. That's what it was. So yes, and then I came close. I was like, cool, this is it. Like, I was slowly at my peak. And then one evening, this is where everything came apart. Stay tuned to the second half. The second part of this story, this is gonna give you more insight of how I became the man that I am today, which is, one day I went for a run, and that was leading obviously to my football career. Nighttime, and as I'm recording this video, it's raining because it gives me some flashbacks. So I went for a run at night, it was raining. As I was running, I slipped into a pothole. So a pothole is a hole. New Zealand accent's a bit different, but a pothole is a hole, obviously, and then you just slip into it. Unfortunately, that happened to me. I slipped into it, and that's when my whole life changed. And that night, I could not wish it on anybody, not even my enemies. My leg broke. And at the time when it happened, I didn't realize. It just felt like I tried to get up, and there was no way that was happening. I looked at my leg, it was snapped. So it snapped in the middle where my tibialis is, and unfortunately, I was in such a shock. My whole body was in shock. Lucky I had my phone on me. And I was like, okay, this is not right. This is something happened really bad. I need to call the police, the ambulance, whatever. So unfortunately, called the ambulance. They came, it was raining, pissing down. The woman was like, yo, what the hell? Just like what the hell is happening? And I was like, I have no clue. Luckily, where we live here, the hospital is not so far. I mean, to be honest, anything under over an hour in there, I would have probably been jumping around because I feel like I was in so much shock and my adrenaline was kicking in. I couldn't feel the pain as much. And luckily they came. When they came, obviously they gave me these inhalers, which kills the pain. And yeah, she looked at it. She's like, oh my God, like it was snapped. I couldn't see it because it was too dark. And I couldn't move because it was just broken. Like I couldn't have no feelings in my leg. And yeah, picked me up, went to hospital. I was obviously so high because of these inhalers. They were pretty good. Yeah, so I was super high on them and everything. And all I remember was just the next day. Like that day, I actually couldn't remember much of it the next day. And that's when the doctor came in and he goes, yeah, mate, we need to do an operation. I was like, hold on, what's going on? What do you mean operation? Like, I'm sweet. I'll be back next week. It's probably just a fraction. This is what I was thinking at the time. I was like, nah, it's just a fraction. He's like, mate, you snapped your leg in half. And I was like, huh? Imagine somebody telling you, you snapped your leg in half and all you think about is like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna be doing anything at all. And I realized at that time when he goes, we have to do an operation to get your leg back into place. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? It means I can come back still better and then go for start playing football again and stuff like that. He goes, unfortunately, to give you the bad news, the guy I think was so serious, like to give you the bad news, he's like, I don't think you can even run properly anymore because the way it broke, we have to do a surgery through your knee. So now obviously I've got the scar and I had 4 screws, 2 screws in my knees and then 2 screws in my ankle. And I was like, what? He's like, yes, we have to do a surgery and we have to put plates down your leg to hold this because he goes, the way it broke, it's very dangerous. And also once we go through your knee, your nerve system on the knees will die. That's why when you get surgeries, usually they make you sign a disclaimer because in case anything happens, you already signed it, which a lot of times do happen when you're signing a disclaimer, especially for knees and stuff, the nerves end up dying. And yeah, I could not believe my eyes when he said, yeah, you could not run anymore. You can't even play sport properly anymore, even if you try to. So I'm sitting there, I'm like looking at my parents. My mom is boiling her eye out. My dad, obviously, he's very cold, so he was just standing there. And my brother and then 2 of my mates that came to see me. And I was like, anyway, I couldn't think. They took me into surgery. I came out, I was so high. I didn't know what was happening. All I remember was like my leg was in so much pain. They had to give me Tramadol's. I wasn't really pain. And on top of that, hearing that you could not do anything anymore. You imagine something that you've been loving for so long in your whole life that you're working towards to, and somebody just tells you, oh, sorry, mate, yeah, you cannot run anymore, you cannot play sports properly anymore. I don't know what would go into anybody's mind, but what went through my mind was like, oh, well, why am I living now? You know what I mean? What's the purpose of this? I thought if you're chasing your dreams, this is it. You chase your dreams, you chase something that you want, something that you love to progress into life. Isn't this what life is? Unfortunately, that was not for me. So yeah, I ended up in hospital for about a couple of weeks, I believe, till I got home. But when I got home, that's when things kind of really started getting to me. I started getting very depressed because obviously when they give you Tramadol's, they do place something into your head to obviously kill the pain, because that's the only way you could. Gave me tremadors as soon as I was off it, and they're like, okay, we need to, 2 weeks in, we need to take the cast off, because the best way to heal your leg is when the cast is off. So it breathes, because it was getting inflamed. It means my knees were just getting really puffy, blood was not circulating through. And as I was sitting there, I realized, I'm like, I have literally nothing. You imagine there, you're sitting and talking to yourself, you have nothing. The one thing that you loved so much has been taken away from you, and you could not come back to the person that you used to be before. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck am I actually gonna do? Like, what is it? Like, you could not think, if you've been obsessed with one thing, how can you think of doing something else? You could not. So I'm sitting there, started getting depressed. Like, things were really, really tough for me at home. My parents didn't want to, like, obviously annoy me, because I would flip out, get angry. And I think the lowest moment of my life was when my mom had to literally pick me up, take me to the bathroom, take me to the shower, and shower me like as in I was like a little toddler, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't do anything. Like, as soon as I tried to stand up, my leg was just killing me. And I realized that I'm like, you could be the strongest man in the world, you could be the untouchable. One thing could happen to you, your whole life changes straight away. And that is the moment I realized, I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, I don't have anything to do. And then I sat there feeling sorry for myself for a very long time. Because remember, the process took about 6 months. 6 months. And sitting there realizing, I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do with my life? Like, what am I actually going to do with my life? And yeah, sitting there for so long, feeling depressed. And then every time my mom came to me, she goes, you have 2 choices. You either feel sorry about yourself, or you get back and you got to do what you got to do. So I was there realizing, like, how is this going to change my life? And then I found I had like this pull-up bar in my garage. I don't know why the hell I had a pull-up bar. So I put it in my room, and literally day by day I started like jumping, sitting on the chair, and just sit there, do a couple of pull-ups. As soon as I tried to do a couple, my leg would just go boom, swollen. That's what it was. It just swells up, and I'll be in pain again. And then, yeah, eventually fast forward, leg slowly started healing. I tried to get back, you basically start learning to walk again. That's what happens. You slowly start learning to walk again. As I started learning to walk again properly and stuff like that, the only thing I could do is walk. That's about it. I couldn't work because I couldn't stand for too long. Couldn't do anything. Literally, it was just like a bag of potatoes sitting at home doing nothing. That's what it was, a bag of potatoes. That's where I was, actually, a bag of potatoes. So yeah, I've started slowly gaining weight because I was just eating what the hell I want to eat, do what the hell I want to do. Like, you become from this athlete guy that was playing all this football to doing nothing, to becoming just like a bag of potato. And slowly, 5, 6, 7 months in, I was just chilling around the house. Literally, that's all I was doing. Chilling around the house, doing nothing. And yeah. And then, of course, you meet the people that you think are your friends, but technically they're not your friends. I started slowly going out again. You know, Saturdays was weird because Saturdays and Sundays used to be football time for me. Tuesday, Thursdays was training. I had so much free time. Like, hey, what do you do? And of course, you start getting into the women parties. You start, you start talking to this girl. Start going out with your friends. Before you know it, drinking, you're partying, and that's what happened to me. I literally ended up in that hole for a very long time. I was partying, drinking. Thank God I wasn't on taking drugs in it. I tried them, but it was never for me. And it became the one bad habits that I've had was alcohol, woman. That's what it was. Every weekend I would sit there and be like, I'm not doing this anymore, because I'll get so drunk that I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. The following weekend comes, I'll be doing the same thing again. Following weekend comes, I'll be doing the same thing again. And because I hated everything else. I didn't like any sports. I couldn't do any sports, nothing. And that's when my parents started getting worried about me. They're like, you went from this person to this person that we don't even know who you are. They stopped. They didn't even know who the hell I was. And yeah, every weekend partying, started going to random parties, having fights. I got into a couple of bad fights where I ended up in the cell for a couple of nights. Couldn't tell my dad. The only person knew about it, my mom. My dad found out that I was doing that. He probably would have killed me. Middle Eastern parents. And yeah, how did that go? Like, how did Hamoudi go from this semi-professional soccer to this party animal guy, drinking, partying, going with the randomest people that I'd never hang out with, that I ended up being with in the same circle? And I feel like these are the things that has changed me as a person. These things have made me who I am today. Do I regret any of them? Nope. People say, I regret doing this. You cannot regret what you've done. What you've done, you've done. You cannot take time back. The only thing you can do is look ahead. And yeah, as soon as I started getting my confidence back, I started like walking properly, jogging a little bit. Every time I would jog, it would still be sore. And 2 years in, I finally could, could jog a little bit, could run a little bit. But I was still partying, still drinking. That was my baddest habit that I had. And yeah, one day my brother goes, hey, there's a half marathon down the mount. Do you want to do it? And I was like, sure, whatever. How many Ks? 21. I was like, what the fuck? What? 21 Ks? I'm like, bro, who the fuck does that shit? And he's like, people. And I was like, oh, all right. And it's crazy to say this because my first half marathon, actually, where I had my plates in, my screws in, I ended up doing an hour 22. Oh, sorry, an hour 44. And I thought that was fucking fast. I was like, yo, that's fast. And my brother was like, bro, that's not bad actually for what you've done. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I got back. And don't mind me, before that, I've tried to play other sports like golf. Fucking, I don't even know. I think golf that I only tried, which I didn't like at all. That's the only sport that I could think of that doesn't really affect so much on my knee because you're just swinging. But yeah, did my first race and I was like, hey, I actually like this. It makes me who I am again. It makes me that person that used to challenge when I was playing football, because I used to love being greedy with the ball. So this is the sport that I could also be greedy by just being me. And then everything just went from there. I started getting to half marathons, start signing up for them, meaning I'd have no excuses but to train. Slowly, the people that I used to hang out with, I started to not hang out with. They'll message me on the weekend, hey, come play with us. And I'm like, nah, I've got a race. Or I'm too busy going for my run. And then I was just running, like here and there, pretty good. My whole mindset started shifting. I started listening to podcasts, started reading books, which never have before. All about rebuilding yourself, looking after yourself, the person that you once used to be, you could change to become the person that you want to be now. I think the first book that I've read was Think and Grow Rich. That helped me quite a lot. I read it about 3 or 4 times. What you think, what you become. I was like, what do you mean when you think become? Didn't understand what manifestation was, didn't understand values of how you can actually change your life. Like, that was the biggest moment. You imagine you're going to a deep hole and the only person that you can get out is yourself. And yeah, so having that, I believe that what really shifted my whole mindset. I became this person that I know I used to once be. This guy that used to wake up, go do his football, put the weights in his bag, walk to school, train 4 times a week. So I went from having good habits to really bad habits to not really caring about my body or anything like that. And then being surrounded by people that was affecting my life in so many ways because I was getting in trouble, drinking, women, all that sort, all that thoughts that all the things that people usually go to. And I realized you have 2 choices in life. You can stick to where you want to be and do the same shit every single day, or you can wake up and be like, you know what, I'm actually going to change. I'm not changing for anybody else, I'm changing for myself. I'm changing for the best version of me. I'm changing for the person that I would want to come once for my kids. How would I want my kids to grow? Am I going to be that lazy father that's just sitting around doing nothing and looking and watching TV? Because you lead by example, meaning what you do, your kids will watch what you do as well. The same thing. They are magnet, they see what you do, they just copy that straight away. And of course, as a Muslim kid, God was the one thing that kind of like got me through it. I was praying every single day. I've been clean of drinking for 6 years. I haven't touched alcohol. I actually value relationships now more than what I used to be, where I didn't think or thought woman was just like, okay, get with them and then see you later. You don't realize as a young age that was like the thing that everybody used to do until you get a little bit older and you just realize that everything is different. You know what I mean? Life changes. But this is the rawest video that I've ever done and shared something with a lot of people. But I just wanted you guys to give you the whole situation of who actually I am. The kid that fled Iraq as a refugee, that went to jail as a 10-year-old in Indonesia, 8 months in jail. His brother passes away, no English, couldn't understand the language in Indonesia, nothing, to where we came here. And I feel like that's all part of pressure, because when you're under pressure, you have no choice but to do something about it. And I feel like a lot of people out there who are stuck in some type of way, in any form of way, whether it is family problems, whether it's a you problem, whether it's an injury that stops you from doing anything. Because don't get me wrong, human beings can feel entitled to so many things. Oh, I feel entitled for this. No one's entitled for nothing. You either get up and you do it yourself. And I know it's hard. Nothing is easy. If everything's easy, everybody would do it. But it's the hard things that makes those days easier. You do the hard stuff, your life becomes much easier. And fast forward, that's how Hamoudi became the person that he is. He became resilient. He became the person with discipline. He became the person that his mom raised, where she said, when things do get hard, never stop, continue pushing. Life will throw so many things at you that you would never realize. And you end up sitting there and be like, well, why is it me? Why is it happening to me? Because I'm a big believer in God, and God, when He wants to test you, He'll take you through deep ocean to you crack. And that is the moment where you either turn to the devil or you actually turn to God, because God will always be by your side, but He wants to see how much you value Him. And that's the test that a lot of people go through on a daily basis. Same to you. So this message, this story that I'm telling you guys, this is who I am. This is what happened to me, and this is where I came from. And I feel like there's so many people with similar situations, probably worse situation than I have, you know. Everyone has their own story. Everybody has their own problems that they go through every single day. Do not glamorize people on social media that make you feel like they're living this life. No, because I've traveled around the world. I've been to so many places. I've been around influencers. A lot of them just a facade. And trust me, deep down, a lot of them are empty. So don't let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. Because in life, the one thing that we all promise, that we all have in common, is death. And we're all gonna end up in a hole. Rich, poor, same hole. Doesn't really matter. But it's the between that you're gonna do, is the values that you're gonna give other human beings. It's the print that you're gonna leave behind. Who was Hamoudi? What did he do? Was he this bad person that everybody talks about, that he didn't do this? Or was he this person who actually inspired me, helped me? Because his story was similar to mine. And our family are going through this. This guy inspired me to never give up. And that's the thing that I want to intrigue and to give value to other people, is to never give up, to never surrender, to never let anybody else tell you what the fuck you can and cannot do, because everybody is going through it. I'm telling you. I've trained in the best gyms. I've been to the best gyms. I even been to one of the best gyms probably in the world currently, when I went to Bali, and I've seen every single influencer with 2 million followers, 3 million followers. You speak to them, they just normal human beings, but they just know how to put on and act. That's all about it. That's what they've done. Deep down, a lot of them are empty. They're also seeking for something. So don't value anybody else. Do not envy anybody else, and do not hate on anybody else. As well, stay to your lane, because everybody's path is different. Everyone's route is different. God has everyone's time different. Some people get rich at 16. Some people get rich at 60. You just don't know, because everyone's timing is different. Do not put yourself in a position where you watch sometimes social media, and if they tell you, if you're not at this place at this time, or this time you failed in life, no. These people are insecure. These are the type of people you don't want to be listening to. So my whole goal here is to actually inspire and to help the youth, the older people, to give as much wisdom that I could. The things that I went through, the things that I learned from, I would love to give them back. And I'm always happy to help out. And that's the one thing I feel like probably God put me on earth, is to serve. We're all here as a service. You know, we serve one another, but it's how you service other people. It's how you put a touch on these people when you leave. A conversation that you have with someone, a coffee that you go with someone. How did you leave that conversation? How did they leave you? Oh, you know, well, Hamoudi was this, all you want. Hamoudi, well, he left me inspired. He left me uplifting. He's like, you know what? Everything's going to be all right. Everything will be all right. And life is not meant to be this glamorous, happy-dappy. Happiness is moments. There is days where you're so happy that you're like, oh, it's going to be like this forever. No. When you're on that amazing day, having the best day of your life, enjoy it, lean into it, because some days you get these and some days you don't. And the days that you do, lean into it. And the bad days, you learn from them. Sometimes we have so much bad days, but this much success. And this much success is the enjoyment that everybody's always seeking for. But we always want this much success and no failure. Life is full of failures. Life is full of lessons. Don't let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. Trust me, no one knows how to figure this out. No one knows, because the only thing we know how we figure out is that we're all gonna die. That's the one common thing that we have. Anything else, how are you gonna figure out to leave this earth? You don't. No one does. It's what you do in the middle. And all I gotta tell you is I want to leave you guys with this. I hope you remember this. And I hope I'm going to leave this video for many people who would want to come back and listen to it. I know it's a very long video, but just to give you an insight of who I am. In life is the same my dad told me. He's like, when you're walking, always look straight, because if you look too high on other people, you might break your neck. And that stuck with me. Look straight and just keep going. The moment you start comparing and looking too high, you start breaking your neck, because it's not It's not something that you want to be doing. So I hope this video finds you well. I hope you got to know who I am finally. So everybody that sees this guy with a six-pack and training hard, now you know my story and how I got there. And I hope you guys have a blessing day, a blessing evening, and wishing nothing but the best. Peace out.